This week we explore Warraweena.
You could just see at some point in time this was a busy, bustling town.
The rolling green hills of Warraweena station was so interesting to see.
It's going to be a bit more of a challenge than the full driving that we've done so far.
Rocks were shooting out everywhere.
I saw a 2 kilo rock go flying.
The camera car has a flat rear tyre.
That acted as a bit of forewarning to everyone.
And we're just getting started.
Heading off from the pub, we carried straight onto the road out to Warraweena. You could see there'd been quite a bit of rain. It's more of a red, muddy clay here as opposed to the hard packed stuff that we had at Warraweena.
These roads are for the locals. A convoy of 8 vehicles punching through them, and I must admit I like driving through water fast and making the big splash, but it doesn't do much good for the road and the locals rely on it.
Poor Deb loves playing in muddy puddles.
I know when to play, I know when not to play, so don't worry.
You did really well avoiding the urge.
There was chicken tracks around most of these big mud holes.
Simon pointed that out. He's like, where you can, guys, let's go around the mud. We don't want to dig it all up. And there were certain sections where we had to go through.
All right, this section of track, we can't get off the side of the road. We don't want to go driving across the foliage, so just nice and gentle. It's a fairly hard-packed base. And no problems at all. All right, guys, should be all good to come through.
Brand new caravan.
Sometimes the caravan actually helps you get through those shorter muddy sections because it sort of pushes you through.
It's a 3-ton trailer at the back. That's twin shock suspension in the back, specifically designed and engineered for these type of conditions. So once you do a few of these tracks with it on the back, you start getting more and more comfortable with it.
Well, guys, what a difference this is from Warraweena.
There's a lot more trees, a lot more shrubs, much more open plain as well.
More of like a broken gravel rock. It's also a bit harsher with the corrugations too.
The mountains aren't as close to you and they seem to be more hilly, especially on this right-hand side here. From a distance, it feels very much scalable, whereas at Warraweena, I think you'd need a pretty comprehensive rock climbing kit to climb up one of those.
Looks like some ruins here, guys. Looks a bit interesting. Victor, I believe this is the township of Sliding Rock, possibly even the mine site.
Then we come into what used to be the township of Sliding Rock. Initially they discovered copper out there in 1870 and the town was established in around 1872. You could just see at some point in time this was like a busy, bustling town. You're trying to picture it and you can sort of see it all around. Here we are, there's just ruins everywhere, and I'm reading this thing that's telling me that they used to have horse races, football matches, tennis, communities, schools.
It had been abandoned because the water pumps couldn't keep all the mines from flooding.
It's hard to believe too, the pumps couldn't keep up considering how dry it actually looks.
Yeah.
But obviously it means there's actually a lot of water underground here.
It's pretty special actually to be driving through these parts and you see the ruins and it just makes you wonder some of the stories and the lives of the people that lived here and how hard it must have been. It's kind of surreal actually.
Apparently within 6 months of the mines closing, everybody had gone.
And then we stopped at one of the cemeteries, had a read of the headstones.
One of the gravestones had been broken for about 90 years and it's been restored just 2 weeks ago.
Not much left there. There's a couple of tombstones, one that the caretaker here had recently just fixed and repaired.
They're a sad read, but it's an interesting history.
was actually quite gobsmacked at the size of the space, and there was only 4 graves that actually had a headstone.
The caretaker here told me that there's probably about 50 people in that cemetery.
There you go. Unfortunately, you just don't know who they are or when they were born, and that's just an untold story of years gone by.
Coming into Warraweena station, Simon decided that we'd like to see the flex working on some of the cars, especially the Jeep.
So we literally went on some of the most unconventional tracks I've ever seen, but I'll be honest with you, it was actually great to drive the car around it just to see how much suspension flex I'm going to get out of this car.
And we also wanted to see the caravan suspension working too.
Let's really test this suspension out. Whoa. Look at that suspension doing its job, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
So yeah, we carried on from there and then got to Warraweena station.
We pulled up to this awesome open area with obviously a cabin and office, and they've actually got a few different cabins around the property.
Just 2 cars parked next to each other. I reckon they're equal value.
Straight away, Ian, the station manager, came out to greet us. What a fantastic bloke he is.
My name's Ian Roberts and I'm lucky enough to manage Warraweena station. So I've been here nearly 3 years. Warraweena used to be a sheep station. Back in '97, a mob called Wetlands and Wildlife bought it off them and destocked the place. So since '97, it's been basically used as run as a conservation area. We try and get rid of the feral goats by trapping or shooting.
Apart from those 3, of course, which are lovely.
Yeah.
The brown one's Charlie Brown, and there's a little black one who's her kid, that's Billy the kid, and the little white one is Gizmo.
Ian then took us on a little tour of the station. He showed us where our rooms were, showed us where we were staying.
In the case of this place, it was a bit of a mixed bag of what everyone was doing for accommodations.
Before we knew it, he was actually offering us dinner that night.
Gizmo, come on. Come on.
We actually got invited into his home and it was beautiful.
It was really great to have a home-cooked meal. Ian was so generous with what he provided us. It felt like we had a smorgasbord of options.
Some country stew, obviously, some tuna mornay, some sausages, onions. There was like a mixture of all this different food, farm style.
Actually experienced his hospitality. I've never felt more welcome.
We heard Ian's stories over a glass of wine and he shared plenty with us.
He invited 16 people in.
And 3 goats.
The goats are just like his children, like part of the family. They're so friendly. They're like odd-looking puppies.
We then headed back to our rooms and had a good night's sleep before starting again tomorrow.
Woke up in the morning and it was clear blue skies.
Let's say a big thank you to Butcher's Bacon. This is thick cut, real Australian bacon. Have a look at the size of those rashers. This stuff is just awesome. Like my mum says, it's old school bacon like she used to get when she was a kid. They'll make a fantastic breakfast for the crew, and then a big thank you, of course, to Yokohama, who are cooking up a treat for it. Bloody awesome.
Obviously today was our biggest day yet, so we were pretty much gearing ourselves up for a nice big day.
Plenty going on for breakfast.
We had bacon and egg wraps, pretty gourmet sort of stuff for outback camping.
It was a beautiful breakfast. We had our coffee and we all got loaded up.
We got our cars prepared for what was going to be an awesome day of four-wheel driving.
That's where we're heading to, that peak, right in the middle of that saddle in the sunlight, way in the distance.
Simon got us all into our positions in the convoy and we headed out on the Gills lookout.
Good morning, everybody. We had a fantastic entrance and night at Warraweena Station. This is our first day of actual off-roading. We're heading out on the Mount Gill Loop Track.
And whilst it's super exciting and fantastic to be here at Warraweena Station for our first day of off-roading, this is sadly the last day of our adventure, guys.
Definitely a bittersweet moment. I have had such an exceptional time. I'm really looking forward to today, a 30-kilometre round trip. It sounds like it's going to be more technical than what we've experienced so far.
I honestly felt like I was actually on an adventure. You are going into the unknown, areas that you know nothing about, into tracks that you've never travelled before.
Mount Gill track, quite a difficult track, fairly challenging. It's only 35 kilometres around, but it can take people up to 5 or 6 hours easily to get around it. There's lots of very slow technical driving.
Had me really excited with the mixed bag of cars we have on the trip. Going to be interesting.
The stark contrast between the red, jagged mountains of Arkaroola and the rolling green hills of Warraweena Station was so interesting to see.
Dave in the tank, what are your thoughts in anticipation of what we're going to be driving through today and up on top of?
We're really hanging out for today. The trek up to Mount Gill sounds pretty exciting. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge than the full driving that we've done so far, but the scenery is just amazing. We've got the mountains on our right hand side and there's just so much more trees and stuff like here. It's actually relatively dense.
Yeah, the colour of the dirt's changed immediately, hasn't it? It's gone straight from that sort of grey yellow to back to reddy brown. Looks like a creek bed turned into a road.
The tracks were intertwined and there was a really complex network of tracks on our way up to Mount Gill.
When we started heading down this creek bed and you look to the left, it's smooth. All this fine gravel, but you look to the other side, it's a lot bigger rocks and it's gnarly.
It's a one-way loop, and the reason it's a one-way loop is because if you have two cars going opposite directions, you would have to reverse a long way before you can pass each other. That's how narrow and how tricky and how technical of a four-wheel drive track that is.
The Duke took that through like cutting through butter. The airbag suspension just made it feel that so much better.
We were deep in a gully that was really quite tight. It was densely packed with trees and bushes. We really had to be careful about where we placed our tyres.
Got the tank in low range, it's in rock mode, low fork. We just creep our way through it, nice and slow. Taking it gently is sort of the key, especially when you're out in the middle of nowhere. Losing a tyre out here is actually quite a big deal.
And there's a lot of rocks poking up, and there's even quite a lot of sharp rocks in the centre ready to hit your differential.
Copy, Simon. Calling me, Mitch. The camera car has a flat rear tyre.
You don't expect to do a four-wheel drive track in a convoy without at least something happening. And flat tyres, unfortunately, on this type of terrain, is got to be the thing that brings you undone.
So it's obviously hit the rock on the sidewall and then slid across and then caught its edge up on the rim and has bent the rim. So it's obviously clipped the rock and then just dropped the car down. So a lot of energy on that corner to bend the rim like that.
Simon were very professional. He's got all the gear in his car.
It just goes to show that even with experienced drivers, these tracks really had to be taken carefully and there was caution at every turn.
Jess and a few other people too who had never been on a track like that. Got to understand it's not just about buying a four-wheel drive. Got to come out with recovery gear and tyre plugs and a compressor. Got to have all these things in your car.
Took a little bit of time, slowed us down a little bit, but no major issues. Definitely you could see it was becoming more and more challenging as we went along. So that acted as a bit of forewarning to everyone. So we carried on. We ended up dropping down into the creek bed. You definitely see starting to get a bit rockier and a bit more technical as we headed along.
For me, this style of four-wheeling is some of the best I have ever done and some of the most entertaining that I love to do.
There were plenty of rocks. Rocks were shooting out everywhere. He was really bouncing up and down there for a while.
Wow, when Simon went through that track, he got stuck. It was really quite hard for him to push the vehicle through. I think he even stalled it twice. That's unusual. The guy knows what he's doing. He's been doing it for a long time. So it was definitely quite challenging.
That thing was wedged
I saw a 2 kilo rock go flying. Yeah, it's tight, super rocky. Just gonna crawl through it and fall low.
Yep.
Got my seat up high as possible just so I can see where to place the tyres. Just try and avoid one of these sharp rocks going through the sidewall.
You gave that truck a bit of a workout to get up some of these little boulders, but we are putting these airbags to the test here.
All right, we are in low range, following the Iveco. After it's taken the creek bed, the Jeep has chosen the more difficult track on the right, and we're following on the left.
Well, the track's getting a little bit gnarly now. The tank's unlifted and it's not my car, so I'm taking the slightly easier route.
We come to a bit of a section which was a bit of a playground for 4 drivers, multiple lines, but it was really good fun.
All right, convoy, we've got some choices up here. We've got the hard line to the left, which I'll do in the Iveco, and then we've got the easy run to the right. You can choose what you like to do when you get here. I'd say most cars go to the right. The Jeep can have a play on the left if they want, and this is exactly what I'm looking for.
Obviously Simon driving the big Iveco. He's picked one of the harder lines. We've advised some of the cars to go around.
In one of the creek runs, Simon was like, the Jeep can follow me, everybody else can stay.
You can't say that to a Hilux driver, which definitely meant I was going that way. Not going to be shown up by a Jeep.
That's right.
Only the Jeep can go there, he says.
Looks like Victor's inspired the rest to tackle the hard line as well. And everyone ended up making it with ease. But then I noticed an even harder track to the right, and I couldn't resist checking it out. The obstacle that laid ahead, though, was a bit too much for the Iveco.
We actually ended up walking down there and it was hectic.
Yeah, I stopped here.
You stopped here? Yep.
Yeah.
Wise move, I reckon.
You have a wheel up here and a wheel up here. But that's going to collapse and the Iveco will turn sideways.
You'd have to be a little bit insane to try and traverse that one when you're so far away from Iveco parts.
That big root, that's a problem. That's the only thing that's going to stop us.
And it did stop us. No one was game enough, so we moved on. From there, we continued our way up to Mount Gill.
Talk about slow, tight and technical. Now we've got some washouts, some op canvas, some really nice sections of track. This is just changing it up beautifully.
The Gladiator wheelbase is so long that you actually don't feel any rocking motions at all.
This section's looking good, rocks, but now we're starting to climb and some interesting overhanging trees. Oh, we just squeezed.
Keep going straight. Put a little bit of oomph into it so we get up this hill.
Yeah!
That's it, nicely done.
Thank you!
Keep your left wheels just to the...
Ah!
You're alright, you're alright.
Yoo!
Yeah.
That was so fun.
That was cool, eh?
Nice little climb here. It's quite rutted. There's some bit of dragon's teeth rock hanging out the side, just waiting to take the sidewalls out. And up we go. Easy.
Our journey through Warraweena is far from over. Next week, we are going to see the most scenic parts of this place, fix some stuff, enjoy ourselves, and try to fix some stuff again. Where is your favourite spot for rock crawling? Tell us in the comments.